he ain't answering me. Hadn't heard a gobble yet, but you never know. I'm in Vermont, in some pretty woods. It's in the low 50s this morning, the wind's pretty low. I gotta find something I hadn't been seeing much in Vermont. I need to try a box. There's a creek down there that's kind of loud. I want a good high spot here. Should be able to reach out there and touch one from there. Onward.
This is a prime example of what happens way too often. I'd already lost a glove at this point. Now I've lost the piece of cardboard and rubber band that go on my box call to keep it from making noise. A couple hours after this, on a hot walk out, I decided to take my leg gaiters off, and I lost one in this same area. It never ends.
One step at a time. I gotta go up that peak, down another power line. I saw a strutter a while ago. Down at the bottom of the other power line. It's about a 2-mile walk to get to it, I think. It's 10:16. Gotta walk faster. My legs are short. I can't tell you how steep that is. I just spooked a turkey. Nice. Son of a gun. I gotta go down. Up, down, and down again. Like I've been hiking forever. When I got to that last peak, there was a big dip. Came back up to that peak, dropped back down. The bird is over there and at the bottom. Kind of time to get serious. I don't want to get all the way over here and blow it. I'm going to be walking out of here 20 pounds heavier. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if it's the time of year. My calling's terrible. Just unlucky. I've called in other places. Vermont supposedly got enough birds. I should have done got one to gobble somewhere. I've not had one gobble at my calling yet. It's alright. If I can lay eyes on this one, he ain't got a gobble. Never ever seen a turkey look this small with my eyes. He's straight past this pole, all the way down there. Getting there. This power pole right here is the ones on this side. He's between the 4th and the 5th one. That's the one. A long ways to go. I just jumped off a giant rock back there. Banged my gun. Barrel. I don't know what it's hit. Looks to be okay, but don't make me feel very good. Number 2. I don't know how far apart these things are, but kind of need to slow down now. Get a little bit off the edge. He had a hen with him a while ago, but I don't see her now. Looks like he's in a cut strip of tall grass. I'm gonna race against the clock. I'm right here at the 3rd power line. I eased up there and looked, and he's not there. And I can see over to the right side, most of it. Makes me wonder if he didn't go back left on my side. About to change the battery on this GoPro and then call. These are the crunchiest dang woods I've ever walked in. Nothing but sticks in here. I lost my glove too. No idea where it's at. Probably fell out of the truck. That's the 3rd one. Getting into the danger zone. Kinda. He was right down there between them 2 power poles. I can't see him. hear me real well. You might can, but not enough to come all the way up here. Just one way to get down it. Just tuck and roll. I thought they didn't have snakes in Vermont. Garter snake. Trail mix. M&M's, sunflower seeds, raisins, and cashews. Hope that little bag's enough to get me back up that hill. And the next hill. And the next hill. I'm defeated right now. Walked all the way down that hill. Got to the bottom. Bird was gone. Never saw him again, never heard him. Never answered me. Never gobbled. That's the way it goes, I guess. Take the good with the bad. I'm in Vermont. I got a strutter spotted. I'm gonna ease through these woods and try to get around. Looks like he's in a field. He's coming up this wood line, I think. Hadn't heard him gobble or anything yet. I'm just getting situated. I just hit a crow call and he gobbled. He's falling off down the hill. He was kind of out there in the middle and he's moving to the left. About to blow my crow call and he just gobbled. He's straight out there in the field. I'm gonna get right down here and try to call him in the woods. Hope that'll help him out. Sound like somebody calling over. I can't tell if that's a hen or not. He's not coming right now. I don't want to sit here and wait on him. I think if I relocate, I got a better chance. As I say that, I see him strutting. He's facing me.
I was having trouble getting this gobbler into range, and I look across the field a little over 100 yards away and I see him breeding a hen. I couldn't get great footage of it, but he stayed on top of her for a minute or two. After he was done, he started moving right, following another hen. I tried to get his attention and steer him my direction, but he wasn't having it.
Uh-oh. It's too hot.
I don't know if you heard it or not, but in that last yelp sequence, a different gobbler gobbled in the background. As I looked to the left, I saw him step out of the woods. This is a second longbeard. He comes out and he's pretty skittish. I'm not sure why. Tried to get his attention and get him interested enough to come across the field to me, but he was preoccupied with something, I'm not sure what. I don't think he could see me because I was up in the woods and kind of in the shadows. Either way, he just continued to follow the other longbeard and the hen all the way across the field. There wasn't much I could do at that point, but I looped around and never had any more luck that day.
I'm in Vermont. I hunted some private this morning. Got permission. Saw some jakes. Had a four-wheeler drive right through the good area. Never heard a gobble. Had to relocate. Went up the road to some public land. Stopped in the middle of the highway. Get a box call. Turkey gobbles. I'm not sure how far I am right now. I think of 200 or 300 or 400 yards, but I don't know anything about this place. I'm about to try to blow a crow call and see if he'll gobble. Kind of skittish about walking up there because it goes uphill and it's wide open. This is one of the places as you're popping up, they're looking at you if they're standing up there, but I don't know how else to get over there where he was. I gotta do some sneaking.
The turkey never would gobble again, so I was left with a decision to make. I tried to slip into these woods that he was in, quietly and slowly, and found a spot to set up with a little brush around me. It had been over 15 minutes since I had heard that gobble, and he gobbled on his own. I was trying to slow play it and be patient. About 35 minutes or so after he gobbled, I catch movement up the hill from me. I finally determined it was a longbeard. He was steadily working his way down the hill in my direction. I decided I'd try to get the camera in position to get a little bit of footage, so every time he went behind a tree, I would move. You can see this longbeard working his way down the hill towards me. If he continues in this direction, he'll pass by me at roughly 50 yards, give or take a few. I only had a couple gaps to shoot through and I was freehanding it. It was a long shot, and every time the gobbler walked through a gap, he had his head low and he never stopped. I just didn't feel good about the shot. With all my attention focused on the longbeard passing by me, I'm unaware that 2 more turkeys are coming down the hill towards me. I probably move a little more than I should, and they probably picked me out. I wasn't too concerned about them because I think I determined that they were both jakes. The longbeard continued easing down the hill away from me. He was acting pretty wary the whole time, and I never could get a shot. Meanwhile, these other 2 turkeys kept coming down the hill towards me. I watched the longbeard until he went out of sight down the hill. I decided to try to stand up so I could see further down the hill and just stay close to the tree I was at so maybe I would blend in. I was unaware of where the turkey had went. I was just trying to locate him again. In the next 30 minutes, a lot of action happened and my camera had died. I started with some light calling and ended up working my way up to some pretty aggressive calling, trying to get a response out of the turkey down the hill. He eventually appeared in the same path that he walked down the hill, and he started creeping up my direction and eventually passed through the same gap that he went through before. I was standing up and had to freehand a shot. I wasn't too sure about it, but it was my last chance. I feel like stand pots. Just give me a second. That's a Vermont turkey. Video on this is gonna be terrible, but I got a dead bird and I'd much rather have that. This guy, he wouldn't gobble at didn't gobble at my crow call, and I didn't want to call to him until I knew where he was at, so he finally gobbled on his own, and he was up the hill here through those woods. I said, okay. I came in from over here and I slipped down through there, and I got right over in there. I kind of got a blowdown behind me. He gobbled twice on his own. So I sat down, I called a little bit and expected him to jump on it. No. Alright, gave it a few minutes, called again, nothing. Dang it. I gave it a little longer, got my box out, started doing the same thing, just cutting like he had gobbled out on the road. Nothing. And he gobbled one other time in there somewhere, and that was it. I called a few more times. He wouldn't say boo. I wasn't that far from him. Had to be 200 yards or less. So I'm sitting there like I guess anybody that's bored is gonna do. I'm playing on my phone, which I shouldn't have been, but it's what you do. So I'm sitting there like this. I kind of drop my hand and I look up, and he's standing right up here, just looking. And I'm like, oh no. And he's inside the edge of the woods. He's right up in here somewhere. He's just kind of looking. I'm like, dang it, you know, he saw me. He starts walking down this edge, just slowly. And I didn't like his color on his head. It wasn't good. He starts walking down through here. Well, when he would get behind some trees, I'd just do a little soft something. Nothing. He walked all the way past me, and the first time he walked through this gap, I should have killed him, but I didn't, because I didn't like the shot. It wasn't good. He was walking, he had his head low, and I thought it was too far, honestly. I don't know how far it is. He walked on, and I said, well, maybe he's looping me, and I can get a shot behind me. He wasn't. He walked all the way down the hill, and I'm sitting there thinking, you gotta be kidding me. And I look up, and there's another turkey right here. It looked like a hen. Wasn't worried about her, but he went off down in the bottom, and when he did, I called. He didn't do nothing. I said, crap. So I just kind of stood up beside my tree to see if I could see down in there and see him. I could not see him. So I said, crap, I don't know what else to do, maybe he ain't gonna gobble. I was
trying to just get something out of him, thinking maybe if he moved past the danger he felt, that maybe he would gobble down there. I kind of got on him. I was cutting and yelping and stuff, and he didn't do nothing. Well, I guess it did something to him, because I'm standing there. I'm expecting him to be over behind me down on the bottom or something. I look over. Son of a gun's standing right over here. He's done come back up the hill. Just standing there looking at me again. I'm like, what is this guy's deal? He stood there forever, and I was in a bind. I had my gun pointing up, kindly resting on my leg. I was holding it, in an awkward position. My arms are shaking now. I've been holding my gun so long, but I was in a half crouch, I guess. I was bent over at the waist, which, you start feeling that in your back. In the first spot, he stood there for at least 5 to 10 minutes. I did a little soft purr and stuff. Finally, he walked about 2 or 3 steps, and he stopped, and he stayed there for several minutes. And he did that the whole way. Well, finally, I threw a yelp in there. Every once in a while, I could hear him clucking. He was doing a gobbler cluck. It almost sounded like a putt, but I learned it earlier in the year. They're not necessarily putting, especially when they're standing there looking like that. It didn't sound like an alarm putt. It sounded like a gobbler cluck. I think he was really just looking to try to find that hen. He was very nervous, very skittish. Makes me think he's probably been hunted before, maybe been shot at, I don't know. But finally just kind of folds his wings and starts walking. I got a good gap right through here, and I done made up my mind. So if some miracle he walks back through that gap, I'm shooting. I don't know how far it is, but I'm gonna put it on my TSS, and hopefully it, it'll do the job. And he walked through my gap. When he went behind the last tree, I got my gun up and I was holding it. And he stopped. Oh no, great. I'm gonna be holding my gun up forever. Luckily he walked out and he got in my gap, and I yelped and he raised his head. So relieved when he went down. I don't know how that all worked out, but thank the good Lord, Vermont is checked off the list. He's a very, very lightweight turkey. He's probably the spurs are kind of a little curved and a little sharp, but I'm figuring he's probably a 2-year-old and 3 at the most. But he's a longbeard, mature bird. But man, he's light. I don't know what his deal is, but so thankful he went down and on a random piece of public land in Vermont. I'm sorry the video was non-existent pretty much, but we got us a turkey. Where was I sitting? I can't even see where I was sitting. How could he see me if I can't see it? Probably because I look like a big goof standing there. Another 50. I want to make it a habit of shooting them that far, but a wise man once told me sometimes you got to do things. So here's where I was sitting. I'm just going to have to stop taking that. I think it's giving me away too much, but basically I was sitting here twiddling my thumbs on my phone, and I look up and I see him right through there somewhere. He's in the woods with me, and he dilly-dallied back and forth, and he finally started going down the hill. And he went all the way down this hill, and I started to shoot him when he walked through this gap, one of these gaps right here. He went all the way down the hill and fell off down that hill. Well, then the next time I saw him, he was right over here, and he stayed behind this junk forever. And he finally came, and I was standing up at this point, and I had to lean over past this guy. I didn't want my pattern to catch this guy. I shot him right through there. 50 steps. Last morning of this trip. Got a spot I'm going to in Vermont. Don't know much about it. I don't have long to hunt. It's cracking daylight right now. I'll be there in 23 minutes, it says. Probably need to leave by 6:30 or 7 and then start rushing like a madman to get my stuff ready and get to the airport. My biggest concern is going to be getting everything organized and packed into my suitcase again, because it was a tight squeeze on the way up here, getting everything in there, and I feel like I got more now than I came with. So turkey fans and feet and beard and breasts and all that. So got one Vermont tag left, so if I can punch that ticket pretty quick this morning, that would be icing on the cake. It's been a great trip so far.
ran through a while ago and got a car wash on this rental truck. They gave me a white truck and it got pretty nasty along the way. So, got a little blood on the tailgate. Kind of was hoping maybe they won't see that.
Just got one to gobble. He's up the hill away from me. I gotta hurry. I ain't got but about an hour to hunt now. Gobbled at an owl hoot. And I could have drove my truck most of the way up this hill. I guess that wouldn't have been as fun. Gotta catch my breath. Oh! Nothing. I don't know how far up in the woods he is. Kind of thinking about being really aggressive and calling, just going to him. Way up there. He's up there. Fat guy checking in. I'm freaking getting after him. I can't climb the hill any faster. He's starting to gobble good. I'm almost within striking distance.
When I started climbing the hill, I decided to keep the roll of the hill between us and try to climb above him and then work my way towards him. The closer I got to him, his gobbling increased, and I think he was gobbling at me walking in the leaves. I was able to get above him, and I got as close as I possibly could without him seeing me. He was gobbling at me, walking in the leaves towards him. I decided to sit down, and I figured it wouldn't take much for him to come my way. I did everything I could do to kill that turkey. I just ran out of time. I ended up walking down the hill calling as I went. I never heard another peep from the turkey. I don't know what happened. That's how my 2019 season ended. Vermont turkeys were tough in my own experience. I appreciate y'all following along this season. I got some good stuff coming up for 2020. If you like what you see, please subscribe to the channel, like a video or two, drop me a comment and let me know what you think. As always, I appreciate the support, so thanks. God bless you and your families. Y'all stay safe.